Where's a good place to find a man?
She'll kill anyone that gets in her way.
Gets in her way of what?
Her life cycle. I think she's trying to mate.
We decided to make it female so that it would be more docile and controllable.
The goal was to create a visually striking and terrifying alien-human hybrid.
More docile and controllable, huh, Fitch?
The 1990s were famous for alien invasion films. Independence Day, The X-Files movie, Alien 3, and Mars Attacks all come to mind. Yes, those are all great, but what about Roger Donaldson's classic 1995 creature feature, Species? Of course, the first thing that comes to mind is the beautiful Natasha Henstridge, and this being her first acting role. She's an absolute terror and a force to be reckoned with here. Species is something of a cult classic, and one that we need to talk about. So, on this episode of Horror Revisited, let's dive back into one of the better sci-fi movies of the 1990s.
Nice hearing from you, Carlos.
The initial concept for Species came from a script called The Message by Dennis Feldman back in 1987. The screenplay focused on a group of scientists who receive an extraterrestrial message that contains instructions for creating a hybrid alien-human child. In 1993, Feldman reworked his ideas into a spec script with hopes of getting it purchased by a studio. MGM got word of his script from producer Frank Mancuso Jr., who was attracted to the creative possibilities that the film presented. After purchasing Feldman's script, MGM hired various filmmakers to bring the project to life. The first director attached to the film was Richard Donner, known for directing Superman and the Lethal Weapon series. However, Donner eventually left the project due to creative differences. Roger Donaldson, the director of films like No Way Out, Cocktail, and Cadillac Man, was then brought on board to help the movie. Donaldson worked closely with Feldman to further develop the script and refine the concept. The script went through 8 different drafts. Larry Gross, another scriptwriter, was even brought on to try his hand at the script. Ultimately, all the screenwriting work went to Feldman. During the screenwriting process, they reworked the story to focus more on the dangers of creating a genetically engineered hybrid and the resulting consequences. After Donaldson was announced as director, Mancuso stated that most of the $35 million budget would be spent on effects because the film didn't call for any big stars, which we all know to be a lie. But because of the quote lesser emphasis on actors, it called for newcomers to join the cast. Hence former model Natasha Henstridge to be cast as Syl. The film's producers were attracted to her unique blend of innocence and sexuality. The supporting cast would include well-known actors such as Ben Kingsley, Michael Madsen, Forrest Whitaker, Alfred Molina, and a young Michelle Williams who would portray young Syl. To create the alien creature, the team brought on Swiss artist H.R. Giger. He was responsible for creating the aliens from none other than Alien, and what attracted Giger to the project was the opportunity to design a monster like a warrior who was not only sensual, but deadly. The goal was to create a visually striking and terrifying alien-human hybrid, so the filmmakers wanted to create a creature that was both alluring and menacing. Giger would draft the design and build puppets in his studio. He later faxed sketches and airbrush paintings as production commenced. Syl would possess enhanced strength, agility, and regenerative abilities. For this to work, extensive makeup and prosthetics were required. To transform actress Natasha Henstridge into Syl, the makeup team utilized prosthetics and intricate detailing. Syl's face was given a pale complexion, and her eyes were enhanced with colored contact lenses to provide an otherworldly look. The team also created forehead ridges, bony protrusions, and facial markings, emphasizing her alien lineage. Syl's design included unique alien features. She had a distinct set of mandibles that extend from the sides of her mouth, resembling a hybrid between human lips and insect-like jaws. These mandibles would occasionally reveal themselves during moments of heightened aggression or transformation. The makeup team created transitional stages, with Syl's skin undergoing a metamorphosis, revealing the alien aspects beneath. To enhance Syl's creature design, practical effects, and animatronics, the team included included the use of prosthetic body parts, such as arms and claws, which were worn by performers or operated remotely. Animatronic components were employed to create facial movements, including snarls, hisses, and other expressions, adding realism and depth to the character. Visual effects were also employed to enhance Syl's ability and further emphasize her alien nature. CGI was used to create complex sequences, including her ability to transform, regenerate, and exhibit extraordinary physical prowess. Filming took place mostly in Los Angeles, including location shooting at Sunset Strip, Silver Lake, Pacific Palisades, the Biltmore Hotel, and the Hollywood Hills. Other locations used in the film were the Santa Monica Pier, the Arecibo Telescope in Puerto Rico, and the Thule Army Depot in Utah. The production design team worked on creating various sets for the film, including the laboratory where Syl is created and kept, which was shot at Rockwell International Corporation Laboratory in California. Andrei Bartkowiak was hired as the director of photography. He had previously worked on Speed and would collaborate with Roger Donaldson again on Dante's Peak and 13 Days. They were able to capture the visual style of Species, which aimed to create a sense of tension and suspense, utilizing lighting techniques and camera angles to heighten the film's horror elements. The film featured several action and stunt sequences, particularly during Syl's pursuit and confrontations with the scientists and the government agents. Stunt coordinators and performers worked closely with the team to choreograph and make sure these movements were captured effectively. Once filming was completed, it then came time for the post-production process. Sound design played a significant role in enhancing the atmosphere and suspense of the movie. Sound designers worked on creating and manipulating various audio elements, including creature vocalizations, ambient sounds, and the film's musical score. It helped to immerse the audience in the film's world and intensify the horror and tension. Color grading was also a huge part in editing this movie. It was aimed to create a dark and atmospheric look, enhancing the horror and sci-fi elements of the film. The plot for Species revolves around a group of scientists who receive an extraterrestrial message containing instructions to create a hybrid alien-human child. The team successfully creates a beautiful and highly intelligent young woman named Syl, who grows up at an alarming rate. As Syl matures, it becomes evident that she is a deadly predator with a strong drive to mate and procreate her alien species. Once she escapes from the laboratory, a team of experts, including a government agent and molecular biologists, are tasked with tracking her down. They must stop Syl before she can mate and unleash a new generation of hybrids that could potentially threaten humanity. Along the way, Syl undergoes various transformations and displays a range of formidable abilities, making her a formidable and unpredictable adversary. Species was released on July 7th, 1995. It received mixed reviews from critics. The film holds a current rating of 42% on Rotten Tomatoes. Most critics stated that it's an empty-headed sci-fi thriller that makes the most of its senselessly violent setup with visceral creature effects. At the time, Roger Ebert gave the film a positive review, praising the special effects and stating that Species was, quote, well made and has high energy, unquote. Some critics commended the film for its visual effects, makeup, and the performance of Natasha Henstridge as Syl. Despite the mixed reviews, Species was a commercial success, grossing over $113 million worldwide. Over the years, it has gained a cult following due to its blend of science fiction, horror, and eroticism. It has also become a notable entry in the genre and is often mentioned in discussions of 90s sci-fi films. After its initial bare-bones DVD and VHS release in 1997, MGM would release an exceptional copy on Blu-ray in 2006. It included several featurettes as well as 2 audio commentary tracks. In July of 2017, the Gods at Scream Factory released an updated collector's edition Blu-ray, which had even more bonus features, including archival content. Because of its success, a sequel was warranted by the studio. So not one, not two, but 3 sequels were created. Natasha, Michael Madsen, and Marge Helgenberger all returned for the first sequel, Species 2. While these sequels did not achieve the same level of acclaim as the original, they expanded upon the mythology of the franchise. Species is a horror film that I look back on fondly. As a kid who grew up in the 90s, I was exposed to all kinds of great sci-fi flicks. Anyone who saw this film back in the day was in love with Natasha Henstridge and thought the special effects were great. Yes, over 30 years later, the CGI shows its age, looks outdated, and everything feels cheesy, but so what? It's good cheese, and it's a great film worthy of a rewatch, and I gladly give this a solid 7 out of 10. Revisiting Species reminds us of its entertaining mix of science fiction, horror, and action. While it has flaws such as predictable storytelling and underdeveloped supporting characters, the film's intriguing premise and Natasha Henstridge's standout performance as Syl make it worth revisiting. It serves as a reminder of the 1990s fascination with genetic manipulation and the risks associated with it. Overall, Species remains a cult classic that provides an entertaining and chilling cinematic experience.